You didn't misunderstand the deal. You understood it too late. Songbird didn't lose control because she failed. She lost it because she kept saying yes after the cost was already clear. And once survival depends on compliance, choice isn't a choice anymore. In Cyberpunk 2077, Songbird is not free when you meet her. She works for the NUSA as a netrunner tied directly to the Black Wall. That's the digital boundary that keeps hostile AIs from tearing reality apart. And her job is not theoretical. Every operation pushes her nervous system past what it can safely handle. She's kept alive through constant intervention, medication, procedures, and monitoring. And it's not as a kindness, but as maintenance. And by the time you meet her, leaving is not a clean option. It's actually a medical risk. It's a legal risk. And it's a survival risk. And that's where this stops being about missions. Because Songbird isn't trapped by force. She's trapped by consequences that were designed in advance. And here's the moment that most people recognize themselves. Songbird is not technically allowed to walk away. No one is holding a gun to her head. But if she leaves, the support stops, the care stops, and the protection stops. And suddenly the choice looks like this. You either stay and suffer, or you leave and deteriorate. And see, that's not a real choice. And you've been here. Not as a spy agency. I'm talking about in real life. You stayed at a job because quitting meant losing healthcare during treatment. Or you stayed in a role because your visa depended on it. Or you stayed because rent, or custody, or debt, or insurance made freedom theoretical. And no one forced you. They just made the alternative unsafe. And see, that's leverage. And once survival is on the line, consent becomes procedural. And this is how engineered consequences work. First, you're told you're helping. Then you're told you're needed. And then the system quietly restructures around you. It restructures around your body, your schedule, your identity. And support becomes conditional. Relief becomes transactional. And Songbird keeps being told she's protected. But protection only exists as long as she continues. And that's the trap. Not punishment, and not cruelty, but dependency. And Songbird is still asked to say yes, still asked to consent, but every choice comes preloaded. You say yes, and the system keeps you stable. You say no, and you're on your own. And you've heard this tone before. You've heard them say, "We're flexible, but this role might be reevaluated." Or "This is optional, but it could affect your future here." Or "Do what you want. Just know what that means." The words say freedom, but the structure says consequences. And at some point, you stop asking, "Well, what do I want?" You start asking, "What can I afford to refuse?" And that's where Songbird is. And that's where people disappear into compliance without ever being coerced. And see, the most dangerous part comes next. Because once you said yes under pressure, that yes becomes precedent. They say, "Well, you agreed before," or "You handled it last time," or "This is what you signed up for." And see, Songbird's earlier consent does not protect her. It removes her exit. And every successful mission proves the system was right to keep pushing. And this is the hardest one to sit with. See, you didn't lose freedom in one decision. You lost it because your earlier compliance was used against you. You proved you could survive it, so they built the role assuming that you always would. At work, or in relationships, or even in family roles, you become the reliable one, the flexible one. You become the one that I can just handle it. And eventually, saying no didn't feel brave. It felt dangerous. And that's not weakness. That's conditioning. And see, Songbird didn't wait too long to leave. The cost of leaving was engineered before she ever even tried. And that's why Songbird's story feels suffocating. Not because she's naive, and not because she failed to escape, but because the system didn't need to lock the door. It just made the hallway unsafe. And when choice only exists on paper, compliance doesn't look like surrender. It looks like survival.